Hey guys, welcome to Tekkit. I'm Copyright, and this is episode 24. So our numbers are 38, 7, and 7, and once we get there, you should see that we were probably going to be having a pretty fun episode, because 7 down and 7 across is the TNT cart. This, in itself, may seem like you might not exactly know how to use it, so I'm going to show you guys, and show you guys basically how to have some fun with it. So basically, the first thing you need is a minecart, of course, because you need something to put the TNT in. Then the next thing you need is TNT, because you're going to need something to explode. And then once you put that in, get the TNT, put the TNT right above a minecart. For example, if you put it over there or whatever, it's not going to work, but if you put the minecart right under it, wherever, it will work wherever. You could even, if you wanted, just put it in your crafting table, your mini crafting table in your inventory, and get one. And then we're just going to grab some tracks. So the thing is, I'm actually going to go over here and do that. But actually, first I want to show you guys. Now, if I put a track down and put the TNT cart on it, you might be like, so what's the point of this? Well, you could use a flint and steel to activate the TNT to where it would explode. But you may be thinking, why don't I just use regular TNT? Well, the thing about this is, flint and steel isn't the only way to activate it. You can use what's called a priming track, and I will show you guys what that is. Basically, what you need is just some tracks, and then of course you're going to need once you put a priming track down, you're going to need to power these. So if I power that, it's not going to power the priming track, so I'm going to have to activate the priming track. So what I can do is basically, I'm going to just break this one. What I can do is place the TNT cart down and push it. And as you can see, once it hit the priming track, it activated, and once it hit the wall, it exploded. So we're actually going to do this again a couple of times actually. We're going to need to grab some more TNT carts though, so let me do that really quick. So let me just type TNT, and there we go. So, for example, if we switch the place of these, and then put the priming track right there, and activated it, once we put the TNT cart down and throw it, and push it rather, it will just go and basically just blow up whenever it hits something. And then, for example, now that it's if you do it right, it will fall. So we're just gonna put that like that, and there we go. So instead of exploding right away, as you can see, it will fall and then explode once it hits the ground. So that's one way to do it, is by using priming tracks and just running it into walls and stuff. Another way to do it would be to, actually we're just going to stay over here, and we're just going to fill in a little bit of area, and this should be good, but we're going to just level out this area right here. And that's not exactly what we wanted, but that's alright. There we go. And I'm just gonna break down some of this so we can actually see stuff, and it's not all crowded and stuff. But we actually need to do it over here. So I'm just gonna put this stuff right here. So the first things first is you need, of course, powered tracks. And what we're gonna do with these powered tracks is, the powered tracks, of course, is gonna be what's making it move so fast. And so basically we just, wrong track. I'm actually gonna just dig out this a little bit, so just give me a minute. So as you guys can see, I basically cleared this area out a little bit, gave it some light, and what we're gonna be doing is basically just building some tracks down, of course. Then we need to leave 2 spaces open. One space will be for the priming track, and another space will be for what's called the launcher track. And this is where a lot of the fun is going to kick in. Now, of course, we need to power the priming track, and we need to power the launcher track. So once we put this on here, and push it, it will launch. As you can see, it basically just jumped over to there. And we don't have to necessarily have it going that far. We could, if we wanted, let's see if the wrench works with this. And it's not seeming to work. I'm not exactly sure why. It should be working, but I'm not exactly sure which wrench it is, so we're just gonna keep pushing tracks over there. As you can see, it jumps really high. You are supposed to at least be able to change this with the wrench. As you can see, we're kind of launching it over to where my mob apocalypse arena was. But as you can see, we can just pretty much have fun launching stuff. And for example, we just decided to launch stuff this way. That is totally okay too. We can just put a priming track down. Actually, we're gonna need to go in creative mode. And there we go. And just put a priming track, and then we actually should probably move this back a bit. And then launching, or priming track, and then launching track. So there we go. We're actually gonna need to still move this. There we go, because we need to put that and that. Now, as you'll be able to see, it's gonna basically just launch it straight into the wall and explode it. So that's pretty cool. We gotta fix our broken issue. There we go. Alright, so now we can just keep putting TNT carts, and it broke again. Everything is breaking, of course, because of TNTs, but that's okay. We can just spam them basically. And as you can see, it's a pretty fun thing to do, actually. Honestly, you would probably be able to, as you can see, if you put them too close together, the first TNT cart will blow up the second TNT cart, turning it back into an item, like a dropped item. I'll try to do that again. As you can see, it dropped the item. And that basically will happen if the explosions happen too close, if the one explodes right in front of the other one. And basically just you don't give it enough time to, like, enough space. That'll happen, but you guys just gotta time it, kind of put a little bit of time between it. And I don't think really you should have a need to just fire a lot of them. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, I don't know of a reason that I would need to shoot them that close together. Because the wait isn't really that long. Now, see, one thing that this could be used for is definitely TNT cannons. And of course, you don't even need this much space. For example, I'm actually just going to move this one. I'm going to break these two. For example, if I put a priming track down here, and I'm actually going to get a sword because I'm tired of dealing with these mobs. I don't want to keep dealing with them at all. Actually, I'll just wait. And there we go. I'm going to turn it to day, though, of course, because the mobs are annoying, to say the least. And there we go. As you can see, basically, we have powered it now. And if I put it there, as you can see, you don't need a bunch of space. So we can just confine it into one little area. So if I got a pickaxe, I'm just going to grab an iron pick and just break these tracks. As you can see, this can fit into a really small area. You just need 3 blocks. One for the priming track, one for the whoops, I just threw down my power tracks. There we go. As you can see, you just need one for the power track, one for the priming track, and one for the launcher track. So we can just put it down and it'll launch it automatically. But for example, why would this be useful? Well, if you just want to blow up random crap, that is one reason. But also, for example, say you're playing on a faction Tekkit server where raiding is allowed and stuff like that, because of course I really don't want you guys to use this to grief people, because that would be fairly bad. And that would somewhat make me responsible. But I will say that I am not responsible for whatever you guys choose to do with this. If you get banned, it's not my fault. But I'm saying, if you're on like a faction server or something where PvP is allowed and you're allowed to blow up stuff, I use faction server for an example because normally you're allowed to PvP and blow up their stuff. So, I mean, because that's just a risk of a faction server. So basically, you can put this down, put a TNT down, and most faction servers, or at least the ones that I've played, you aren't able to break the other faction's stuff. Well, if you make one of these and go like this and launch it into their wall, I don't really think that they would be able to stop you from doing that, because technically you're not building in their area, as long as you can get close enough without building in their area. And as you can see, we killed the Enderman. But if you get close enough to their area to build this, to launch it into their walls, go for it if you're allowed, because I really don't want you guys to like just grief people. But anyway, you can just launch it in their walls and blow their stuff up. I don't see how they would be able to like prevent that from working, because it's an explosion blowing up their stuff and not you personally breaking it. But I think it should happen. I have not tested it. You guys can go ahead and test it and let me know if you'd like, or whatever. But I mean, that's one way that it could be useful. So we're just going to fly back to the home place. But as you can see, that would that's one way that having these could be useful. And of course, you can make more elaborate kind of items, or whatever you would, contraptions, or whatever you'd like to call it. For example, you could have like, I'm actually going to use a regular minecart to show this example, because I really don't want to blow up most of my stuff. And for example, if you did this and then put this, of course it's a launching track, we're going to need some redstone torches, so just power those, and let's see where it lands. As you can see, it landed pretty much right at the edge of that. So if I, whoops, did not mean to do that. So if I put a launcher track there, for example, and it's going the wrong way, so I can just do this or something. And then if I put the track back on there, if I put the minecart back on and launched it, as you can see, actually we went a little bit too far. Or we didn't go far enough, rather. So let me just try this again. As you can see, we could just put a lot of them and then figure out where it lands. But as you can see, now it's not doing it. Now it went too short. Anyway, we're just gonna put those two there, and then that should be able to. Oh right, yeah. Duh. Okay, that was complete fail. We actually didn't have this track powered, and that was actually why it wasn't working. So this should work now, and as you can see, we shoot it to that one, it hits that one, and bounces. And you can just basically do this, and if we put another one there, as you can see, it'll bounce more if we power it, of course. And then say it would come over down here somewhere. It should land there somewhere, but we'll see how it goes. And there we go. And as you can see, it bounce, and lands pretty much at this wall. So we're just gonna break this wall and stuff. And as you can see, we can just throw a powered track down and then power it. And then if we put like a little launch track there, it should basically just go and run along it a little bit, land on the track, and go forward. As you can see, it went forward before launching again. So basically, what we could do is, right here, we could put a priming track, and then put the launching track there, and go like that. And then just break this. And as you can see, once we put the minecart back, it'll just go through that kind of little system. and it will eventually land up there. And of course, it's not going. The primer track's not going to do anything because it didn't. It's not a TNT cart. But as you can see, it would have ignited. The fuse would ignite, and then it would launch, land here, and explode. So, I mean, by doing that, you could make some kind of elaborate system or something, and basically that would, like, you could use a system, make a system that would just allow you to launch tracks, or launch a minecart, TNT minecart rather, all the way basically just back from your base or wherever you want, really. You can just do that or whatever you want. So I mean, that's one way you could do it. But I mean, you could just basically make, if you wanted, you could just build dirt towers or sand towers or whatever, then put a minecart on top of it, and of course it would need a non-physics block like stone or dirt or something. You could just put that on top of the pillar that you made, and then you could put a launch track on top of it, and at the end you could have like a launch track behind a priming track. And what that would do is basically you could just have like them randomly up in the sky, and then you could just break down the pillars, except the one that the track's on, of course. And basically you could just like shoot them across the sky and basically just get them to wherever you need it to go. But I mean, that's just some ideas of what you could do with these. I mean, it's a pretty cool item in itself. It could be a very valuable weapon in faction servers. So I mean, just keep that in mind if you need something like that. But anyway, that was the TNT minecart. Thank you guys for watching episode 24, and have a nice day.